The Reserve Bank of India has left rates unchanged for the 7th time in a row. Not too much of a surprise there, considering that there is a nascent fledgling recovery in the economy, which is showing signs of improvement after the second wave, but those signs of improvement need to stabilize. What was a key point, though, in the kind of messaging that came in from Governor Shaktikanta Das was that inflation was going to inch up but would be transitory. Let's listen in first to what he said today.
Projection for real GDP growth is retained at 9.5% for 2021-22. And this consists of, I'll give the quarterly breakup. This consists of 21.4% in Q1, 7.3% in Q2, 6.3% in Q3, and 6.1% in Q4 of 2021-22. Real GDP growth for Q1 22-23, that is next financial year, is projected at 17.2%. Let me now turn to inflation. Headline CPI inflation edged up sharply to 6.3% in May, driven by a broad-based pickup across all major groups on adverse supply shocks, sector-specific demand-supply mismatches, and spillovers from rising global commodity prices. It remained at 6.3% in June. However, core inflation registered an appreciable moderation in the month of June. The revival of the southwest monsoon and pickup in Kharif sowing, buffeted by adequate food stocks, should help in containing cereal price pressures in the months ahead. High-frequency food price indicators show some moderation in prices of edible oils and pulses. I repeat, high-frequency food price indicators show some moderation in prices of edible oils and pulses in the month of July, on the back of supply-side interventions by the government.
Speaking to us now about what was the messaging coming out of the monetary policy as well as Governor Das's speech is Aditi Nair, Chief Economist at ICRA. Aditi, great to have you back on the show. First, was there any surprise for you at all, and what is the message that you're getting from what the Governor has said today?
Now, today's policy was pretty much in line with what we were expecting, that there was going to be a status quo on the rates and the stance, because at this point in time, it's far more important to really support the growth recovery and prevent any kind of derailment. And while inflation has been elevated in the it has to do with the global uptick in commodity prices, domestic supply disruptions caused by the state-wise restrictions during the second wave, and much less to do with a domestic demand which is rearing up its head. So this is in line with what we were expecting, but the little bit of a surprise was the fact that we got a non-unanimous vote coming in on continuing the accommodative stance, and that is a factor that highlights the unease which is there underlying as far as the inflation outlook is concerned.
Yeah, in fact, Aditi, the two surprise points, if any, was that it wasn't a unanimous view that an accommodative stance should be continued. It was 5:1. And the changes made to the VRRR. So the central bank has decided to absorb more funds through the variable rate reverse repo. And some in the market looked at it as a sign of the tide turning. Do you see it that way, Aditi?
Well, the RBI and the governor went great lengths to say that this is not a sign of a change in the liquidity stance. And I think that's the outlook that I'm going to take as well, that with the kind of liquidity surplus that we have, even this increase or this doubling, which is planned in a staggered manner from the current 2 trillion to 4 trillion by the end of September under the VRRR, it's really not something which is going to change the fundamental liquidity dynamics very much. I think as far as me as an economist, I'm interested in what they did as far as their inflation projections are concerned, as well as the growth projections. On the inflation side, very much expected sharp increase in the CPI inflation projections for this year and for the remaining 3 quarters. Also, what's really interesting to me is that they're expecting inflation to be 5.9% in the current quarter, practically at that 6% threshold. Then there's a dip down because of a favorable base effect. And then we're going back to an average 5.8% CPI inflation being forecast for Q4. Again, just skirting that thin edge below the 6% upper threshold. And so this is something that is a little bit worrying. To some extent, we can rationalize the uptake in the Q4 average inflation from the fact that as the uncertainties reduce, it is likely that domestic producers are going to be more emboldened to take price hikes that they've been sort of trying to avoid given the demand uncertainty so far. So that's part of it. But at the same time, a negative surprise on the inflation front can't be ruled out when inflation is so close to the upper 6% threshold.
You know, Aditi, let's take a look at the big economic picture panning out right now. July high frequency indicators were good. We are seeing that there is some sort of a nascent recovery, but everything seems to be hinging on what happens with a possible third wave, what happens with vaccination rates. Taking in account all of the data that is currently available, do you see the situation consistently improving for the rest of the calendar year?
Let me start with the July high frequency indicators. Broadly, they're giving us a pretty good trend. There's a good sequential up move for most of them. Most of them have crossed the April 2021 levels and the pre-COVID levels, importantly. But many indicators are still below their robust February-March performance. So this is something which we are still characterizing as an incomplete recovery at this point in time. Now, vaccination rates were slow, but they have picked up. So we're hopeful that if this pace of improvement is continued, then at least by the end of Q4, we should end up seeing pretty much the bulk of the adults being vaccinated. And that is something that is going to at least help the contact intensive sectors, albeit in a very back-ended manner. Now, what did the RBI, the MPC's projections tell us today? They actually maintained the full year average at 9.5%. But they've upped the Q1 forecast and they've actually reduced the Q2, Q3 and Q4 forecast for growth. So that's a very interesting, breakup in terms of how they are seeing demand being rebalanced through the year. So effectively, our takeaway is that they are seeing that while there was disruption in Q1, it wasn't as bad as what we were fearing. And what we earlier thought would be pent-up demand which would show up in Q2, Q3 and Q4 now is unlikely to be the case. So we've got a better Q1 and we've got lowering of forecast for the rest of this year. So it's actually quite an interesting rebalancing which has happened within an unchanged growth forecast for the full year.
So what can change the dynamics right now, Aditi? Traditionally, a lot of expectations are there from Q3, festive season, kicking in. One hopes that the agricultural sector starts seeing some returns, etc. So what really can be done in terms of fiscal support right now?
On the fiscal side, our reading of the data that we have so far is that the tax and the non-tax situation is pretty comfortable. It's really a worry about whether there is going to be a large slippage on disinvestment in case the big ticket plans don't go through in the current fiscal year itself. So that is something that is going to possibly be a niggling worry which may prevent a faster pickup in government spending. At least as far as Q1 is concerned, we had a very variable pace of spending through the 3 months. It did improve by June. But for the quarter as a whole, the Government of India spending was barely higher than last year. So in that sense, it's possibly going to be one of the drags on the Q1 double-digit expansion that we are penciling in. Our own forecast for Q1 is a little bit lower than the RBI's, the MPC's. But nonetheless, it's a high double-digit growth forecast for Q1 with only under 1% total expenditure growth of the Government of India. So this is something which is going to be a little bit of a lag. We're hopeful that as the next couple of months tax data comes in, there'll be a lot more conviction as far as the strength of the visibility of the outlook for revenue receipts is concerned, and that may help the government to pick up the pace of spending over the next few months, which will help to sort of bolster the economic recovery and give it a lot more strength and confidence going.
All right, thank you so much for that, Aditi Nair, the Chief Economist of ICRA, telling us that we will have to wait and see what revenue receipts look like. Inflation is going to be a sword hanging over our heads for some time right now, but the RBI unlikely to change its accommodative stance in the near term.